at the end. So tonight what we're going to be looking at is what your gut health has to do with your business results. My name's Jennifer McCormack and I'm a business kinesiologist. So what that means is I help people, especially healers, coaches, and people that really want to make a change in the world, to help them become more in alignment with their business goals and what they want to achieve. In doing that, I'm a true believer that our internal bodies reflect our external worlds. So when we look at this, we look at what is going on in our external world and correlate that to what is happening in our body and vice versa. So let me have a look here. So what we look at here is our body is made up of three parts: our mind, our body, and our soul. So one can't work effectively if the other is not in balance. So for us to really thrive and function at our optimum level, we really want to nurture all three parts. We can't ignore one and focus on the other and expect us to be able to have this beautiful balance and harmony that we're all aiming for. You know, when we look at this, we look at the way we think and the way we act and how we are. You know, we've been given a body to walk on this physical plane, to experience the beautiful contrast that this physical world has to offer. So our body is our vehicle to do that. And the driver behind that body is our soul. And our soul is the energy that has that true connection with our divine self, that is our divine self. So when we're looking at this in business, we really want to, connect in with this as much as possible, because our divine self, our soul, has all the answers that we need to travel this path in our life and our business and to get it to where it needs to go. So when we look at our, tonight we're going to be looking at two main parts. One is our emotional health. When we have a look at the anxiety, the overwhelm, the stress, the love, the joy, the grief, the regret, the self-worth, the calmness, the generosity, things like that, as well as our physical self. So, tonight really honing in on our gut health issues and which is our digestive tract. So our emotions, this is how our emotions work. This is what you see in front of you, is what we call the cognitive cycle. So our thoughts, feeding into our feelings, into our actions. So here I want to just get into your mind for a moment. Imagine you're walking down the main strip shops in your area, and you see a girlfriend on the other side of the road, and you go and wave to her, and she doesn't see you and she ignores you. I want you just to notice the thoughts that go through your head when you're in this situation. Some thoughts could be, she's ignoring me. Some thoughts could be that she's just not seeing you. Some thoughts could be, what have I done for her to ignore me? Why isn't she responding? And then from those thoughts, we all have a feeling. Those feelings could be confusion. It could be nervousness. It could be the feeling of worry, doubt. And then from those feelings, what actions do you take? Do you yell out again? Do you keep walking? Do you cross the road to greet her face to face? From every thought, there's a feeling, an action that follows, and the cycle continues. So from those actions that you've just taken, and I'd like to just really cement here that a non-action, by not doing anything, is actually an action. It's still a conscious action not to act, not to physically do anything, which means it's a conscious action to stay exactly where you are. So that one I really want to get across, because in business, when we don't take an action where we know it's an imperative one to do, or we know it's going to get us that little bit further, and non-action is saying to ourselves that I'm happy where I am. I feel safe where I am. So then that cycle always continue and evolves. So this is the kind of cycle that sometimes, especially us as ladies, and I'm not saying that men don't do this, but we do it really, really well, is we get stuck in what we think is just that thought-feeling cycle. And that's when those stories conjure up in our head. Those stories that actually, to the end of the day, aren't real. They just manifest and build within our minds. And even so, we think their thought-feeling cycle, the action that comes from it is actually an inaction. So to stay where we are. So when we sit in fear or doubt or procrastination and not take that action, it's our bodies telling us that it is safer to not act than to act. So when we move on from here, we go into the physical. So what we've just explored there with that cognitive cycle, how does that affect our physical self? Well, when we look at our physical self, we look at all the thoughts that we have. And every thought that we have, being positive or negative, it releases tiny chemical proteins in our body, and they're called neuropeptides. So the critical role of the neuropeptides is for metabolic function. So your cells produce hundreds of different neuropeptides with each unique function. For example, when we release hormones, endorphins, cortisol, adrenaline, things like that. So with every thought and feeling, we release different types of neuropeptides. As you experience an emotion, electrical energy activates that chemical reaction within the body. And the cells and neural pathways release these neuropeptides. So when we have a positive emotion, we release neuropeptides that help release endorphins and oxytocin and those beautiful feeling hormones. And that's why it's so easy to have like-minded thoughts get stuck together when we're in experience of thought for more than 16 seconds. So when we have a thought and we hold it in our head for 16 seconds, it's so much easier for a like-minded thought to come along because of that chemical reaction that happens within our body. The same thing also happens when we look at a negative feeling. So with those negative emotions, we also elicit those neuropeptides. They are really helpful within us because they trigger an immediate response that is thinking that there's something harmful. So they release things like cortisol and adrenaline, which are chemical reactions within the body to help us fight. So when we're confronted by a bear or a tiger or a snake or a harmful person, these chemical reactions happen in our body, so we are alert and ready for the danger that's coming at us. However, in the modern world, those dangers that release and elicit those cortisol and adrenaline are not tigers and snakes anymore. They're fear of being seen, judgment from others. It's a negative bank balance or things like that. So our bodies are really, really beautiful in the fact that once the thought goes, the body brings itself back to homeostasis. It brings it back into balance. So the cortisol and adrenaline can go down. even the endorphins and oxytocins can balance out again, and we can continue on our way. But what happens when we hold that stress, when we don't release the stress, when that tiger doesn't go away, when that bank balance doesn't increase to what we want, when that business doesn't expand? Those chemicals never have a chance to balance out. And this is where we see over a long period of time, when we hold a certain amount of those chemicals in our system, especially when it comes to the cortisol and adrenaline, which is probably the two major ones which we hold in that stress-fear response, is that it starts to inhibit the rest of our bodily function. So our immune function, our brain chemistry, so the inability to concentrate, our blood sugar levels, our hormonal imbalance, and these are just really a few that it can start to interfere with. So when stress becomes chronic, your immune system becomes increasingly desensitized to all this cortisol and things that are happening in our body. What then evolves is inflammation. And they say the core root of any disease or any dysfunction with our body is inflammation. So where do we go from here? Here we have a look at the digestion. And one thing we do know is that within our body, when we have these stress responses, now stress is a very big general terminology for everything else. It basically means a discomfort that we can feel. But when we break it down, it's like, what's the root cause of the stress? And when we look at emotions, which is what we just said before, so the feeling from a thought, every emotion is stored in a different part of our body. So we have emotions stored in our liver, our gallbladder, every muscle, our stomach, our large intestines, and they're all different emotions and different thought patterns that are stored in different parts of the body. So when we look at the digestive tract, we look at some dysfunctions like allergies, food sensitivities. We look at constipation and diarrhea. We look at bloating. We look at the imbalance of a flora within our gut. These are some symptoms that we may experience when we hold our emotions in our digestive tract. There's one thing I want you to keep in mind as we talk this afternoon. The information that I'm giving you is very general, and I'll tell you why. Because when we look, say, for example, your stomach, which I'll look at in a minute, there is a certain amount of emotions that are held in the stomach. However, when we look at the organs and the muscles, there's a set that match up. So for every organ, there is a set of muscles, which I will show you in regards to these three organs later on. So what we have is we have a primary source of muscles and organs, and we also have a secondary source. So for example, when we look at the large intestine later, if we keep ignoring what is going on in our large intestine, those emotions and feelings can overflow into other parts of our body. And with the large intestine, the overflow organ is actually the liver. So when you look at yourself and what is going on within your body, what I'd say is be very open to start with on what the true root cause may be. And when I say some of these, when I go into explanations on some of these areas for you, some of you might go, yeah, that sort of correlates with what's happening within me. And then some of you may go, you know what, it doesn't quite work out for me. And that is because it may be what you're feeling may be the result of an emotion that is using that area as a secondary source, a secondary storage. So I just want you to be open to that as we go through this. So what I have done here is I've been researching for many years as a kinesiologist on how our emotions affect our physical body. And when working with business owners, I have noticed a very big distinction on our physical body and how this correlates to what is manifesting within our business. And it's no different to what manifests within our lives, really. When we look at our internal self, like I said before, it reflects our external world. And our external world can be at home, it can be within our bank balance, it can be within our relationships and friendships, and it can also be within our business. So there's really no separation, especially when you're a business owner. Your fears, your doubts, your worries that are personal to you play out in your business. So first of all, I want to have a look at the stomach area. So the stomach is about our business goals and our money beliefs that correlate with them. So here we look at the foundation of our business. We look at, do we have a proper foundation for our business which our business can build upon so we can reach our money goals? Is it a struggle for you to come up with ideas? Or on the flip side, do you have a lot of ideas that you are holding in fear of being wrong about working with them, in fear of judgment? You can see how both of them, they're holding in. They're not releasing those ideas, and therefore you're not going to reach your money goals, your business goals, by holding in those ideas. So when we talk about the foundation, it doesn't necessarily mean the core foundation of our business in which we build upon, but it can also refer to the foundation of the next phase of our business to nourish our growth. So if you've been in business for 4, 5, 10, 15 years, that foundation of your business at its core may be beautiful. But if you're going to the next step and you're struggling to get to that next level in your business, you want to make sure that foundation for that next level is solid and congruent with you, which is the key word here, making sure it's very congruent with you to be able to take that next step up. So ensuring your business, you and your ideas are firmly grounded before proceeding. So when I say firmly grounded, it's literally just that. It's making sure that you are comfortable with it. They are in alignment with you and your purpose, and as well as your business and your business's purpose. When we look at the stomach, we look at these sort of muscles here as our overflow muscles. As the muscles that correlate with the stomach. So we look at the top of our chest, so it's in red there. There's that neck muscle. So when you stretch, and you can tilt your head to the side slightly and you can feel that stretch. And also what we look at is that back neck muscle as well, which I haven't pictured there. So it's your main neck muscles there. And also on the bottom muscle, what we call the brachioradialis, which is my technical terminology for this, is the ice cream muscle. So imagine scooping ice cream out of a big tub, and that muscle there is the muscle that correlates with the stomach. So if you get a sore neck sometimes and have those aching in those chest muscles, that can also correlate to the stomach and the emotions stored in the stomach, even if your stomach feels okay. So what we then look at next is the small intestine. And the small intestine is a representation of your purpose and your passion within your business. So with the small intestine, some symptoms that you might find here is low iron levels, tiredness, low energy, the inability to absorb nutrients from the food that you're eating, even so you might be eating the right foods. So here we look at not being able to separate the good stuff from the bad. going along with what life is giving you, even so it doesn't feel good. So this is like when, life is telling us that something's not right, and we know that by the way we feel, our gut instinct, and the way our body is reacting to it, but yet we keep going along with it. And in our business, this could be, struggling at the same income level and not proceeding, or it can be those times when you get advice from everyone on how to move your business forward, but nothing is working, it doesn't feel right, but yet you keep doing it. That's that sort of stuff. So not listening to your internal guidance system that's telling you that things aren't working. It's telling you that you want your internal guidance system. When I refer to the internal guidance system, I look at our emotions. They're our internal guidance system. So when we feel good, love, joy, satisfaction, that's telling us we're going on the right path. And when we are not feeling good, there's the anger, the frustration, the feeling of powerless, the feeling of being controlled, that's when life is telling us that this is not the right path for you and you need to adjust it so you do feel better physically, emotionally, spiritually. Knowing what you really want out of your business and in life and taking those action steps to get it. So living authentically from your purpose and also ensuring your business venture, whatever that may be, is in alignment with that. So what we look at here is look at, what's my role in life at the moment? What's my purpose in life right now? Our purpose can change depending on where we need to get to, that next step for right now. So you need to make sure that your business is in alignment with your core purpose. If you're in business purely to make money, but the essence of the business itself doesn't align with you, you will always struggle to make that next step, to make that money that you want, to make it fit into your life. So I want you to really have a look at the purpose of you, your core purpose for right now, and make sure your business marries up to that. Do you feel alone or unbalanced in your pursuit for what sets your soul on fire? So it's really addressing the passion part of it. And this goes back to that balance between, your purpose and your business's purpose. Is your business setting you on fire? Is it lighting you up? Or on the flip side, it can be, are those emotions getting in the way of you finding your true passion, your true calling, to build your business that provides you the balance in life that you are after and that you desire? The other point here with the small intestine is, are you finding an internal pull, that living in your passion, your higher purpose, and having the security of working for someone? So this goes, to us when we struggle in business. It's having that internal pull between knowing that what we do in our business is so on purpose to us, but it's not working. And we're having that internal pull between that security, that financial security of working for the man, so to speak, and doing our passion. So a lot of that as well has got to do with self-doubt. So with the small intestine, some of those emotions that correlate here are sorrow and sadness, unappreciative, and that goes for unappreciative of others as well as self, joy, nourishing, all those things, they're emotions of the small intestine. And these muscles here, the quadriceps, which is that big muscle at the front of the legs, on that thighs, as well as the abdominal muscles. Now, with the small intestine, the abdominal muscles that actually are engaged with the small intestines are also the side ones. So not just those middle 8-pack, 6-pack, 8-pack. It's those side ones as well. So if that's tight, or sometimes as well, even if it's sometimes it can be underactive. The energy in there is underactive, which means that if you constantly work those muscles and they still don't firm up and form, that can also be a sign. So a lot of when we look at bodybuilders and weightlifters and people that are very very into exercise and weight and lifting weights and strengthening exercises, some people have very difficulty strengthening certain muscles to the ability that they're working in them at, and that can also be an indication of stagnant energy within that, relating, to these sort of things. So the last area here is our large intestine, and here we look at that constipation, diarrhea. We look at the toxicities held in our body, and we're not releasing those toxicity levels. So within our business, we look at our income goals and our fees around our income goals. So we look at things like, are you resisting change or not changing things to really point in the direction to get you your income goals? Are you taking advice? Are you taking every advice that is given to you and trying to execute all of them instead of really filtering through and being selective to the ones that are in alignment with you and your business, and you know that they will reach you your income goals? Are you holding ideas in for too long in fear that they won't work out? Or are you holding on to them in hope that one day that they will work out? So, sometimes we execute the same thing over and over again in hope that one day it will stick and work. Or it could be the opposite, is that we're just not actually executing it all because we're in fear that it just won't work. Allowing your ideas to flow and to work with the ones that are truly in alignment with you and your business and the direction that you are wanting to go. And that's just not income goal direction, that's business purpose direction. You need to take ownership for what plays out in your business and ensure that is in alignment with you and your income goals. A lot of us get stuck into having business coaches, and which is really, really great for those of us who are the healers that don't really understand the business end of what we do. So we get direction from business coaches to help us along the way. But what we really need to make sure here is that the advice they're giving us is congruent with us. Because even so it may work for one person, if you don't feel right about executing it in your business, it won't work for you, because that stagnant energy is coming from within you because it doesn't feel right for you. So what you need to do is to really explore here on, where do my values sit? Where does my values lie in conjunction with the business side of what I do? And making sure it's right for you. And if it's not right for you and you don't feel it in alignment with you and your business, please question it and go, how can we make this more congruent for me? And sometimes it's not necessarily about the business practice or the route that they're taking on. Sometimes it's purely the understanding from us on how we need to look at it. And I know I went through this with my previous business coach that I had, and it wasn't until I really stood up and go, you know what, I don't understand how that's going to work for me, or that doesn't feel right for me. And then we would sit and talk about it. So we'd either adjust it so it does sit right and feel right for me, and then would execute from that place, or we would talk about it and I would understand it in a different way from the initial way and go, yeah, okay, I can understand now how that's going to work. Let's do it. So it's a challenge for you as well to challenge those internal beliefs that may be arising when stepping forward. But in this whole process, remembering to be gentle on yourself. You know, it is okay to make the wrong decisions. And that's why we have our internal guidance system that says to us, you know, that feels right. Yes, let's do that. That doesn't feel right. Don't do that. You know, and know that if we do make the wrong decision, or if we do something that doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, because we can then stop and we can make an adjustment and we can move forward. So here we look at the correlating muscles of, we look at that high thigh muscle that comes down from the hip. We look at the hamstring, so that's actually at the back of the leg. So that one that comes, basically when you're feeling it, it comes from just below the butt cheek down to just above the knee area at the back of the leg. And then that last one is the muscle. The easiest way to explain this is the lower muscle, one of the lower muscles of the back, and it's connected to the diaphragm. So when you breathe in and you feel that muscle coming in from the back, that's that muscle in there. And I know as a mother, it's always the muscle that I seem to pull when I'm picking up my child from a funny angle. If you've ever experienced that, you know what I mean. So those are those two. So what I'll do is I'll open it up to any questions that you guys might have on what we've spoken about tonight. And feel free to either pop it in the chat box and I can unmute you if you like. But what I'll also do here is all good so far, says Erin. Zita, yes, I do. I can feel it in my body when I do. Yeah, beautiful. So one of the things I said to you guys tonight is, which I'll do for you, is for two of you on the call tonight, I will have a look and have a conversation with you about what is going on in your body in correlation to your business. So the two of you that are left here, Donna and Erin, are you happy for me to do that with you tonight? So if it's yes, just Erin says yes. Okay, we'll start with you, Donna. And Donna, if you're happy to do that, just pop a little yes in the chat box and I'll unmute you after Erin. So I'm just going to stop this share.
Oh.
Hi, Donna. Let me just mute you and I'll jump on to Erin first.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're right. All good. So, Erin, you've unmuted yourself. Beautiful, hun. So tell me, Erin, I'm not sure if you wanted to put your video on, but if you do or don't, that's totally up to you. Can you hear me well, Erin?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. So tell me, Erin, what do you do to start with?
I'm an energetic healer.
Beautiful. And what do you want to have a look at tonight?
So I've had gut issues since I was a kid, and it started when I was younger as constipation, and I realized that that was linked in with my ability to let go of things and process my emotions.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to do that a lot better. I've had stage 4 endometriosis in my bowels as well, and I've had a bowel resection of my colon and endometriosis removed from the lining of my small intestines and large intestines, bladder and ovaries.
Yep.
And it's a lot better now, but I find from time to time I do get a lot of bowel cramping or sudden upsets in the bowel, a lot of bloating as well.
Okay. This is a really, really good one because this is a real great example of previous discomforts that we've had in our body even before starting a business.
Yeah.
And so how that plays out is, you know, there may be certain aspects of our business that we need more support with.
Yeah.
because we, as you said, some of your parts have been removed.
Yep.
And things like that. So let's have a quick look here. I'm just going to really touch the surface here tonight, because with you we can go so deep.
Yeah.
But it's really just for time. Yeah, and with you it does come down to that the word that's come up here is support.
Yeah.
And really needing that support around you. There's also a little bit of inner child work to do around the age of 4 years old.
Yeah.
That comes up. What age did you say?
I've always had bowel issues as far back as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that affect your business? It's coming up as products and services in alignment with income goals. Yeah, which is all large intestine. Yes, and you're right, it's the emotion of letting go. Okay, so interesting. So what this is for you, it's all about having those right products and services that you offer to reach the income goals that you really want. Because sometimes the products that we have, they're beautiful and they're so worth it. But when we look at our income goal, it's like, how do I reach that with this?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I have in the past about year raised the price of my services.
I don't think it's that for you though.
Not that. I was teaching meditation classes and I haven't been doing that for a while, and I have had recent demand to go back and run classes. So that's starting again in 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
And that is a much bigger way to get through to a bigger audience all at once and earn that chunk of money in one sitting rather than little bits here and there. So that's going to add up a lot faster for me. So I'm keen to see how that goes.
Yeah, and I can really see for you in that meditation space. And I think are you doing it offline, yeah, face-to-face?
Face-to-face, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm really taking that to the next level. You have a really beautiful ability to help people connect in with themselves.
Yes.
So with you can have this class as big as you want.
Yeah.
And that's where your products and services and the level of products and services, because it's not coming up around fees here, because I look at fees and income goals very separate.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's come up as services and income goals. So so for you within that meditation class, it's okay, how big can I have it?
Yep.
What's a beautiful experience that I can give that no one else can? And even stretching yourself one more, and I know this might be a little bit harder for you, and this is where I would probably get some added support in, because we're losing some of that, that especially digestive tract, that colon in there. Outside support for the business is really, really beautiful to help assist you with that, especially someone that's strong in that area. But as in foreseeing what can be within that services, and it'd almost be like, I would even go to the level of having someone that can help you run events.
Yep.
And go, okay, let's do a meditation class. You've got the ideas. I'm going to help you execute it, because instead of taking a room that we can fit 10, 12, 15 people, let's take it to the next level and go 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 people.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so it's having that balance there with somebody. And that doesn't mean you have to... It doesn't mean you have to actually get an event organizer. You can do a really beautiful joint venture with a like-minded person.
Yep.
And do it that way. Does that resonate for you at all?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had a lot of really good feedback about people who are attracted to the event so far and really, really excited about it. So I think it's going to build quickly. And I do have an offer of everyone's first class is free. So people will bring friends and more people will get to experience it. And when I did run the class before, I did have a very loyal following of people who would be there every single week. So I think it can be built up to quite a substantial level.
Beautiful. Beautiful. The first thing that I get in mind as you're saying that is have a way to capture that loyal following.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the Facebook group, Instagram, whatever works for you in your business, have a way to really capture them so you can nurture them in between events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a Facebook page, but maybe a private group for them as well, just for the class would be good.
Yeah, the difference between a Facebook page and a group, and I'm not going to go too much into strategy tonight, is that the algorithm of Facebook changes so quickly.
Yeah.
Is that not everyone all the time will be able to see what's happening on your page.
Yeah.
But within a group, everyone that's part of that group gets notification unless they opt out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be much easier for them to see what you're doing all the time.
Yeah. Cool.
Does that make sense?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So go forth and do that and get that external support to help you execute those things. So have a real good, clear idea on what you want your income goal to be.
Yep.
So you know what your minimum attendees need to be to do it.
Yep, definitely.
That's on the business side of it. And then on the healer, practitioner, holistic side of it, it's like, how can I really make this event special for them?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That's okay, darling. Any more questions before I leave it there for you?
No, I'm pretty good.
Gorgeous. Thank you, honey. And Donna, are you happy to jump on?
Absolutely. Yep.
So tell me, Donna, what do you do, hon?
So I'm a clairvoyant medium and do energy healing as well.
Put me on the spot tonight, don't you?
I know. I just got a lot for what you were saying to Erin as well, which is good. So last year I was doing, do you want to talk about my health first? Sorry. I guess years back it started from heartburn and then my gut, more large intestine, and then it led to my tongue and glands in my throat reacting to food. I've had every single test done. I'm not allergic, so they won't issue me an EpiPen, but it doesn't really affect my gut anymore. It's the tongue.
Yep.
It puffs up, it gets bigger, it's tingly, the glands in my throat. So, that's where I'm at, trying to introduce new foods back into my diet now, slowly. But I think, with my business, last year I was doing beginners spiritual development groups, and I did 2 and they were fantastic. Just last week I started a guided meditation night or hour, which I've got the regulars again, which is great. It's more about tuning into their guides and angels and all that stuff. But my thing is I want to try and do workshops, and I've had requests for workshops on specific things, but then I launch it and then I get no bookings. So I've dropped down to part-time with my other Monday to Friday job, which is great, and I'm getting bookings from that, but it's still not enough to take that giant leap to only do my work full-time, and that's where I'm at now. So getting to that point where I've got enough bookings to leave my other job.
Do you know how many bookings you need? I feel like you do.
Yeah, to replace my other job, I probably need 8 or 9 bookings a week.
Okay.
Yep, minimum. Yep.
Can I ask you, are you clearly out in the open with your clairvoyancy?
No, I could be more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the hardest thing with us healers and people that, people like you and I that have this beautiful gift is if you want to be found, you need to be seen for purely authentically who you are.
True.
Okay. So if you want these 8 or 9 people to connect within you, they need to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean just seeing your beautiful face and the physical side of it, but it's seeing your soul as well.
Yeah.
And if you're hiding it to one person, you're more than likely hiding it to a lot more than one person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's coming out of the spiritual closet, so to speak.
Yes, I've been getting that. I've started doing videos weekly for my Facebook page, and so I'm starting to come out a little bit more.
Yes. Is there family members that you're worried about?
Not really on Facebook. They're not there.
No, not on
Facebook.
Facebook.
It started off like that. Yeah.
Offline?
Yeah. And it shouldn't matter, and they don't matter, but doing it is another thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's more actually people from school, actually. I've tried to keep that separate from a personal to business.
Okay. So one thing we really need to understand is there's no separation between us and business. We are business. It's us. You know, you have a beautiful gift to heal and expand the world. You have a beautiful gift to raise the vibration of so many souls out there to help that collective consciousness come up to where you need it to be. You haven't come into this business for one or two people.
True.
So to do what you have come to do, you really need to step up within yourself and take ownership of the gifts that you have. Yeah.
Big one. Yeah.
And those glands, you know that's your voice.
Yes, throat chakra. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that heartburn is holding stuff in, and it's wanting to release. Yeah. Yeah. So it's burning. It's come into your gut system. It's come into your immune system. That's the tongue, and you know that tongue is also your throat chakra.
Yep. Yes.
So, sweetie, stop holding it in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll go into this just one step deeper for you.
Okay.
Being clear on your income goals, how you're going to get it, and not restricting who you get it by.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So at the moment you've gone, this is my little posse here. That's just for business. You go here because you're my non-business people. And I kind of have this little division gate. It's like having all these sheep come and go, oh, you're that side, you're that side, you're that side.
You're right.
Let them figure it out.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
So you know your energy connects with others.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Let that do the sorting and connecting rather than up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to take our business from our head into our heart.
Yes.
And feel our way through it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Totally makes sense.
Beautiful. Yep. Okay. Is there anything else before I close off with you, T?
No, I'm okay. Exactly what I need to hear. Yeah.
Okay. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So to close off with you ladies tonight, I will just share my screen once more. And I do have a lovely offer for you. So tomorrow, I actually am starting a mastermind. So this is learning about your body in relation to your business. So I've really kept this mastermind really open and selecting only people that have beautiful vibrations into it because I really want a beautiful group of people. So tomorrow we start at 10 o'clock Melbourne time and we do group healings every week. I will conduct these group healings for you guys and really looking into your body and your business and how we can help heal and how we can move you forward to where you want to go. So to get clear on how to clear your blocks for yourself as well as me helping you do that along the way. So we are looking at 6 weeks starting tomorrow. The investment is only $174. And for those of you who know the energy work, that's a beautiful price. And that starts next week. So I am only taking 8 people. I've almost filled it, so I do have a few places left if you are interested. Starting tomorrow morning, if you are interested, let me know tonight and we can get you started on board tomorrow. So if you have any, let me stop the share there. If you have any questions, please throw it in the chat box. or email me. I will throw my email in the chat box here. If you're on Facebook with me, Facebook me, that's not a problem. And the email is jennifer@5elementshealing.com.au. There you go. That's for you. jennifer@5elementshealing.com.au. And yeah, would love to have both of you that I've spoken to on board today. And Helen, I do know you, so you know, you're all quite beautiful souls. So if that is something that resonates with you, let me know and we can get you started. Okay. Any questions before we leave it there, ladies? All good, all good. Beautiful. So have a gorgeous night. I will definitely see you two around the tracks and keep an eye out for you guys. And until then, have a lovely night and we'll see you later.